It's Monday. We close in on 4 o'clock, and we start with the Supreme Court in Washington that may be deciding what is and is not protected under Colorado's anti-discrimination law. It starts with Lori Smith, a web designer here in Colorado, who wants to refuse some services to LGBTQ couples.
It is a fight between LGBTQ rights and free speech. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow is joining us now. And Matt, Smith says writing certain messages for LGBTQ couples would violate her values as a Christian.
That's right, Kim, but so far a Colorado District Court and a federal appeals court have not ruled in her favor. The Supreme Court agreed to hear the case back in February. Smith's company is named 303 Creative. On the company's website, she writes, quote, "Because of my faith, I am always careful to avoid communicating messages that are inconsistent with my religious beliefs." So far, she has not turned away any LGBTQ couples, but her lawyer argued today that she has the right to do so.
Law-abiding people have a right to speak their conscience, including on a controversial subject like marriage. And that noble principle is rooted in love of neighbor, extending the same rights to others that we want for ourselves.
Meanwhile, Colorado Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser, whose lawyers argued for the other side, said refusing to do business with LGBTQ couples would be a clear violation of Colorado's anti-discrimination laws.
The basic idea is if you open your doors to the public, you have to accommodate all comers. You can't deny someone access to a product or service based on who they are.
The Supreme Court is expected to rule on the case in June. There's currently a 6-3 conservative majority in the court, which could suggest they'll rule in Smith's favor. 4 years ago, in a similar case, the court ruled that a Denver baker could refuse to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. But legal experts say, unlike the one before the court today, that case was much more narrowly based and not about freedom of speech. Kim and Tom?
When we see that ruling, when it does happen, in fact, would that be the end of the Colorado law?
I would say it will certainly throw it in turmoil. It remains to be seen exactly what will happen and exactly what the ruling will be, the wording.
Of course. Yeah, we shall see what happens at the High Court. All right, thanks very much, Matt. Now, during the hearing at the High Court today, Justice Samuel Alito made a few jokes,
including asking about several different dating websites.
An unmarried Jewish person asks a Jewish photographer to take a photograph for his J-Date dating profile. Is it a dating service, I gather, for Jewish people?
It is.
All right, maybe Justice Kagan will also be familiar with the next website I'm going to mention. So next, a Jewish person asks a Jewish photographer to take a photograph for his ashleymadison.com dating profile. I'm not suggesting, I mean, she knows a lot of things.
During the argument, Justice Alito attempted to make another joke, asking whether a black Santa at the mall is obligated to take a picture with a child dressed up in a KKK outfit, even if he doesn't want to.
Well, the Solicitor General for Colorado, Eric Olson, who argued the case, said Black Santa would not have to follow through because KKK outfits are not protected characteristics under accommodation laws. There was a crash on I-70 in Jefferson County late this morning, and it killed a 55-year-old woman from Denver. It happened around 10 a.m. on I-70, just west of C-470. The crash temporarily shut down westbound lanes. The State Patrol says there were 2 cars involved, and one of the drivers also has serious injuries.
Let's take a live look at downtown Denver right now, where we're about 25 minutes from sunset, which will bring cooler temperatures. But today, I was driving by a sign that said 60 degrees, Lauren. Is that true?
Yeah, today was actually pretty warm. We were expecting another warm day, maybe a little breezy during the afternoon hours, but all of that snow was definitely always going to stay to the west in the high country. Right now we have a live look outside over downtown Denver where you can see these mostly sunny skies. But let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions where we're at 50 degrees at DIA. We have winds coming in from the east-southeast at around 17 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to watch for that to be a little gusty at times, but that's about all of the action that we're going to see across the Front Range and into the Eastern Plains. And that's that's because all of that activity, again, staying north in the mountain ranges and portions of the western slope across the I-70 corridor. We're seeing those lighter snow showers right now, but we are going to continue to watch for several winter weather advisories that'll be in effect until tomorrow morning. A lot of areas are still expecting anywhere from mostly around 2 to 8 additional inches of snowfall as we go through the rest of the evening. We're going to see those winds gusting anywhere between 35 to 45 miles per hour, which we know creates that blowing snow, which could reduce your travel visibilities there. In addition to that, we have avalanche warnings and watches that'll be in effect until tomorrow too. So you do want to watch for avalanche possibilities, especially in those backcountry areas. Now, outside of that, we are just going to continue to pay attention to the winds. We're going to see some more mountain snow. Then we have more snow chances pushing into Denver as we go into this week. So I'll have all of those details for you just ahead in my full 7-day forecast.
Sounds pretty good. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll talk to you in just a bit. Thanks, Lauren.
Boulder is still rising high, buzzing about Deion Sanders kicking off a new era of CU football.
A lot of people are curious about the money, how much Coach Prime might make. The official offer form, well, for CU, has Coach Prime's salary at $5.5 million a year. That's a 5-year deal. $500,000 is base pay, but then there's $1.75 million for radio, TV, and public appearances, another $1.75 million for promotion and fundraising, and $1.5 million for the development of student athletes.
If he's successful, he makes more because there's all kinds of bonuses like $150,000 for winning 6 games. That's, well, you know, we only won one this year.
Then you're bowl eligible.
Okay, and you're bowl eligible. And he'll get $450,000 if CU makes the college football playoff and $750,000 if the Buffs win the national championship, which would be pretty awesome. Still a lot of money. And he will get 2 courtesy cars and a membership at the Boulder Country Club.
Sanders made history this weekend. He became the 3rd consecutive black coach hired by the CU football program. And that's not a first at CU, it's a first for any school in a major athletic conference.
And he stressed the fact that that was not part of his decision-making, but was thankful he was joining a program that is making strides. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Rosari joins us now. And this was an area that, you know, with not a lot of diversity. I mean, Boulder is Boulder, and this was a big step.
Yeah, the African American community only counts for 1.1% of Boulder's population. And we spoke to Justin Brooks, who is a black leader in a predominantly white area, that says hiring Coach Prime is huge. He offers so much in character development for the athletes on and off the field. Deion Sanders' athletic history makes this a major hire on its own. Brooks hopes one day hiring a black man won't make history. Instead, he hopes one day it will just be normal.
Football is a lot like politics. No matter which side someone sits, the goal is the same.
Absolutely, moving the ball down the field.
Justin Brooks didn't play this sport, but he plays politics in a town that doesn't look like him.
I believe at the last count we were 0.9% black, but I think that what I want for the community is not too much different than the rest of the folks here, and that's why they elected me.
Brooks is Erie's first black mayor.
You know, me leading the town of Erie is not an exceptional thing, it's a normal thing.
But until representation is just as common as a decorative downtown, history in predominantly white areas will continue to be made.
And so let me introduce our 28th coach in Colorado history, Coach Prime.
On Sunday, Deion Sanders became CU's 3rd consecutive black coach hired, a first in a Power 5 program's history.
There are several African-American head coaches around the country that were terminated and were not replaced by African-American coach. But you had the audacity to do such a thing. Not only to do such a thing on this time, but several times you've done such a thing. So I thank you for your nerve. I thank you for your courage.
One day, this won't take courage. One day, a seat at the table, a spot on a team won't make the record books.
What representation does initially is it creates a sense of possibility, and then in the long term, it creates a sense of regularity and normality. And so I want it to represent the standard as opposed to the exception. Coach Prime is an example that it can be done, and I hope others follow his footsteps.
Brooks says he's excited to see the diversity Sanders will bring to the coaching staff, and he's confident Sanders will elevate the university more ways than one. And he says if Sanders is looking for a community to live, So give him a call.
Erie's not that far away.
Just go on up to Erie. It's funny because Coach Prime, Coach Sanders, is so out loud about all this that when he talks about changing things, he's not trying to be subtle about anything. He has these discussions about things like race, things about education, things about college football out loud. Now, it may help.
Isn't that what progress is about, right? Is acknowledging our missteps and trying to correct our track in all of this. And I think it's so important that we are having these conversations out loud and making note of the lack of diversity and how we can change and make steps to be better.
Ultimately, like every football coach, though, he'll be measured with wins and losses. He'll be measured by what football coaches are measured by. There's a bottom line to all of that.
And you know, Kim mentioned it's kind of only up from here, right?
Yeah, I mean, one game this year. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot that he brings up that in the last really winning era, Coach McCartney brought up. He worried about his athletes, his black athletes on campus, and how he felt like they were targeted in many ways. Police sought them out. And I mean, and they're in Boulder looking around saying, I stand out. You know, I shouldn't feel like that. So I think Coach Sanders is going to take it to the next level and try and just put it out there.
Absolutely. Comfort is key, right?
Yeah.
Well, he certainly has taken it on. He's not acting like it's something that doesn't exist. He talked about it yesterday. He knows it's there and plans to address it head on.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Thanks to Lisa.